Hi everyone, and welcome back to Carefree Caravanning. We hope you are all safe and well and healthy.
Now, many of you have been contacting us over the past few weeks with your concerns about the future of caravanning and motorhoming with regard to the current COVID-19 pandemic that is throughout our country and indeed the entire world. Now, we obviously haven't got the answers, so today we are going to be joined by Nick Lomas, the Director General of the Caravan and Motorhome Club, and hopefully Nick will be able to answer some questions, give us his views and tell us about the road ahead.
Yeah, I think for clarification, today is Tuesday the 26th of May. Now I say that because this is such a hugely, vastly, rapidly evolving situation. I mean, it changes daily, if not
currently
hourly,
it's kind
isn't
of
it?
changing daily, yes.
So that's why we're saying the date. This will be via a video link because obviously social distancing.
Yes, of course, yes. So let's have a little chat with Nick and see what he's got to say.
So many thanks for joining us today, Nick, and welcome to our channel.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now in week 10 of lockdown, COVID-19. How has the club been managing staff-wise?
Well, if we go right back to the beginning, we got a sense in the end of January and into the beginning of February that there could be a risk of something going along the lines of us not being all able to work together. So we did set up a plan to make sure all our staff could work from home. So over the course of February and into March, we kitted out everybody who works in our East Grinstead team with a laptop and a facility to work from home and to get into all the club systems. So by the time the lockdown was announced, was it 23rd or whatever of March, most of our staff were already working from home anyway. So they were able to answer telephone calls from all the members, send them emails, do web chats and so on. So we've been able to run the club in that sense pretty much as normal.
Right. Just talking about from working from home, are your staff now starting to come back into the office?
We have a handful of staff who've been in the office from time to time all the way through. For example, when we produce someone a booking confirmation and it must be a paper document because they don't have an email address or that kind of thing, someone has to go into the office and dispatch those kinds of pieces of paperwork from time to time. But they do that in a properly socially distanced way, and it's really just a handful of people. Most of our team are working from home most of the time, and as we can do that, the government advice is that you should do that. So for the foreseeable future, that is what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of 3 weeks ago, Twitter announced, didn't they, that they announced to all their staff that people working from home can actually continue to do so forever. Do you think this may be the way forward with businesses?
I think there'll definitely be more choice. We've got some of our staff who are really missing the social interaction. They really want to be with their colleagues and to meet with them. We've got others who really like the fact they don't have the commute and they can balance their work and life responsibilities better. So I think it will be more of a mix of both in the longer term, but we need to talk to our teams about that in the future and what they prefer to do, I think.
Sure. We've noticed as well over the last 3 or 4 weeks, there's been a number of independent, privately owned caravan sites that are actively promoting on their website and media that they're actually reopening on the 4th of July. Is that something that the Caravan and Motorhome Club will be following?
Well, we have made we've made an announcement that we intend to open if the government does stick to the timetable that is a tentative timetable, which is very conditional on them being able to continue to control the virus and all the hard work we're all doing by self-isolating and staying safe. If that happens, then there is a possibility we will be opening in July. But that's at the moment only for England. That doesn't apply to Scotland and Wales, of course. But yes, we are making plans so that we would be able to open if we're able to do so.
Right. And what sort of plans are you putting into place on the actual sites for when you do reopen?
Well, we've got a number of changes that we're going to make. Obviously, if you start when you check in, we expect that most people will actually stay in their vehicle, they'll stay in their caravan, stay in their motorhome, and they'll be in the car and they'll just phone. They'll phone the reception. We'll have a special number that we'll post up outside and say, phone this to book in. So you'll be able to book in without, actually going into the reception area. If you can't, because you haven't got your mobile phone, or the battery's flat, or there isn't a signal for your network, then we will have a system to allow one person in to do the booking in a safe, socially distanced way. And then we'll give everybody the information, and they'll be able to go onto the site as normal. And I think you're probably familiar. All our sites are laid to spacious standards, so there's at least 6 meters clear space between the facing walls of our outfits, so there'll be no problem from a safe social distancing point of view. We will remind everybody to adhere to those social distancing guidelines and to keep as much space between them and other people as they possibly can. And then we've done some research amongst members which suggests that a lot more will prefer to use their own facilities in their caravan or motorhome, so we expect that they will do that, and that will be great. We will obviously have sanitising processes around each of our service points for where you get water and where you empty your waste. And again, we'll have 2 metre markings to make sure that everybody's spaced out if there's a little bit of a queue. And then if you are one of the people that wants to use the toilet facilities and the shower facilities, and they are available on that site, then again, we shall have markings and limits to make sure that there's only a certain number of people allowed to use the facilities at any one point in time. That will mean those people that do want to use them, I expect, will inevitably have to queue a little bit longer than normal and be a little bit more patient. But I think everybody understands that, and will be able to deal with that as part of their holiday. It will just be a slightly different routine.
I mean, as caravanners ourselves, obviously, what will happen with, like, say, the pitch bollards? Obviously, someone's going to leave their site, they're going to unplug their electric, and maybe if it's a service pitch, turn off the water. Who will be responsible for, the pitch bollards?
We're expecting that as normal, you would plug in as normal, but we would obviously remind people to make sure that they wash their hands as soon as they have touched any common surfaces. We will be cleaning all common surfaces more frequently. We use virucidal cleaning products already, we always have done, but we will obviously be increasing the amount of cleaning. So there is obviously a lot of reminding to people that it could be that someone else has touched some other surface, so you need to make sure you take your own precautions as well. Yeah.
And I mean, the club sites have always been allowing day visitors to visit campers. Is that something that you will stop?
I think there will inevitably be limits on how accommodating we can be for extra vehicles, extra cars, and those kinds of things. And we will make sure that we don't mean that the places are too busy. But I think, as always, there's always areas where if it's just one person, perhaps because they're coming to see an elderly relative or visit friends and family they haven't seen for a long time, there might be ways they can do that off-site rather than on-site.
Sure. Many businesses are currently sort of steering away from the cash, taking cash transactions, are now only contactless or paying online before you pick up. I mean, again, with your sites, it's always, you can go to the site when you arrive after paying deposit with you or with the office, and then you can pay cash. So what's going to happen? Will it all be paid up front before they arrive?
No, we expect that if you need to go into the office to pay and use contactless, you would be able to do that. But we'll be encouraging most people to, as I say, to book in by phone. So you'd give us your credit card number over the phone or your debit card number over the phone.
Right. Okay. I mean, the European travel for the Caravan and Motorhome Club is quite a large part of your business. How do you see that going this year, 2020, and even next year, 2021?
Well, obviously, it's been a big part of our help to members over the last few months. We found in February and March, when the virus started to take its effect, we had thousands of people who were in Europe, particularly in Spain and Portugal, some in the south of France, and we spent an awful lot of time helping those people to get back to the UK, rebooking their ferries, booking campsites for them as they came up through Spain and into France, because some of the Spanish ferries were not operating as frequently. So we've had quite a repatriation effort on to help those people back. Now that that's happened, we're turning to helping people rebook if they've already got a booking with us, to rebook that. And some are deciding that they want to take a refund, and if they've got a package, then of course we're very happy to do that. And I think what happens in the future, there is talk now of some European countries opening their borders later in the summer, and I think some people will be adventurous and want to go. Others perhaps not, maybe wait for another year. But we will obviously help members in either situation. As a members club, that's what we do. We try to help members as much as we can.
Absolutely, absolutely. Regards to the certified locations, I believe you've got over 2,000 CLs throughout the country. Do you know how these sites have been doing? I mean, have they been coping okay? Will they survive financially?
Yeah, it's a real challenge for the CLs, the certificated locations. They're obviously small businesses. There's about 2,300 of them across the UK. We know a lot of them are really looking forward to welcoming their visitors back. There's been a great video that a team of them have put together. I don't know whether you've seen it, where they've been mowing their sites and showing how they've got them all ready for when they welcome people back. So I know that a lot of people will want to go there. They obviously have suffered the same as the club and all tourism businesses, a massive downturn in their income. So they've had no money coming in for over 3 months. It's going to take them a while to recover. They are, of course, eligible for some of the government tourism grants, or at least some of them are. Some help with their business rates and so on if they pay business rates. And I hope that will help tide them over. We've not heard that many don't want to carry on, which is good news. I think they're just waiting for the opportunity to welcome their members back.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. I mean, do you see the way ahead? I mean, obviously, staycation seems to be the word at the moment. Do you think that more and more people will be turning to caravanning and motorhoming and tenting even because of fear of travelling abroad this year and even maybe next year?
Well, I think it's certainly a possibility, isn't it? Because all the media has been talking about this, you're in your own self-contained space, aren't you? And that you're able to do things your way in your own time. And given the uncertainties about being reliant on, scheduled tour operators and the different restrictions that might be, put down because of the virus in different countries at different stages and at different times. I think people do want to try and take a bit more control of the situation, and that's the thing about caravanning or motorhoming, as you know, you go at your own pace and you go where you want to go. So I do think there is an opportunity for that. I think we've also got to be realistic, though. There are many people who've been affected very badly and terribly by this virus. They've had lost loved ones and had terrible experiences themselves in hospital and so on. And I think some people are therefore naturally cautious about going out on a holiday, and I completely understand that. Equally, some people, face great financial difficulties, and so we might see some people who can't carry on because of that, and that's really, really sad. But if they can't carry on the pastime for financial reasons, that's it's really, really sad. But that does happen, unfortunately, and that will happen.
I think financially wise, economically wise for businesses, we are literally at the start of possibly the worst downslide, because many businesses, as you know, are starting up next on the 1st of June. And yesterday, Boris announced that from the 15th, a lot more retailers can open up. And I think there's going to be a lot of businesses that are going to struggle to survive, sadly, which is tragic, absolutely tragic. We noticed, we saw a letter that you sent over to Professor Chris Whitty, asking him what his opinions are and the way forward. Have you heard anything back from him?
I haven't yet, but I have had some correspondence with the Department for Culture, Media and Sport, who are obviously also responsible for tourism. So we're talking to them at the moment because obviously we believe, as is very clear in the medical and scientific evidence, that being outdoors is good for you and fresh air is good for you. And spending time in the outdoors is not only good for you sort of in terms of the amount of exercise you do, which the government's obviously trying to encourage, but also it's good for your mental health and your mental well-being. And we know that people who go on caravan sites are more relaxed. They feel, better in themselves because of spending time outdoors. So we really wanted to play our part in making sure that it was given the fair consideration when the time is right and when it is safe to do so, that we can reopen.
Yeah. The NEC October, I noticed yesterday on the NEC site, they're still actively promoting tickets. Do you think that's going to go ahead?
I honestly have no idea. I think it's larger events like that are still some way off in the government's thinking, and I think we just have to wait and see. I think what is important is that if there is an event, we would want to be there to be available to our members, but I suspect it will be in quite a different format to what it is now if it does go ahead.
Right. Right. Finally, Nick, before we let you go, do you have any message that you would like to personally say to members of yours watching this and other viewers watching this as support?
I'd just like to say thank you to everybody that's supported the club. We've had great support from the club and so many fantastic messages of thanks for our help that we've given people over the last few months. And we want to, get open as soon as we can so that you can get out and enjoy your holidays when it's safe to do so. And we'll be working really hard to make sure that we're ready as soon as we can. But I'd also say to everybody, at the moment, it's important that we stay safe and we stay close to home. And when we do book our holidays, think about perhaps not going so far, think about not going for quite so long, so that, we don't take unnecessary risks or go very, very adventurous early on. Have a short break first, an hour or so from home. That would be great, really, just as a starter.
Nick Lomas, Director General of the Caravan and Motorhome Club, on behalf of Michelle and myself and everyone watching this, thank you very, very much indeed for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. Take care.